What's up everyone, it's Karthik with Money Vest Real Estate, and in this video I wanted to go over 7 reasons that impact a price of a property. Now this is not an exhaustive list. There's probably a lot of different variables that go into play when you are trying to price a property, when you're looking for that potential for appreciation or whether that property that you're analyzing is going to appreciate over the long term. These are the 7 things that you need to consider when you are looking at an investment property, or if you're looking at buying your own home, whether there's going to be that potential for appreciation. So I've done a very similar video in the past, and I'm actually working right now to research and put together a lot of analysis and research about the Dubai real estate market. So I've got a lot of content that's coming out in the future, a lot of videos that we're going to be digging deep into the content, into the analysis and the research of the Dubai real estate market, to share my perspective as I am hunting for my second investment property right now. So once again, thank you so much for being a part of our channel. Definitely drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So the first factor that affects your price of a property or that potential for appreciation is the most obvious one, and that is location. So location is by far one of the most important aspects for whether that property has the potential to appreciate or not. And there's a lot of things that go into figuring out the location. There's scarcity of land, right? So a lot of the price appreciation depends on factors called supply and demand. So if there's a lot of supply that's coming into that location over the next several years, so if there's a lot of projects or a lot of units getting handed over in that particular location, chances are there's going to be a very, very modest to no appreciation for that property until after the entire community is built out. But until then, the appreciation potential is capped. So very important in studying the location is also understanding the neighboring projects, the surrounding projects, and what kind of supply is expected to come out in that proximity of where you're looking at as an investment property. The second one is, of course, going to be the demand for the location. Right? So the best thing is that part of the analysis is already done by the developers. So if they're building in that area, that means they're forecasting demand in that area. Otherwise, they wouldn't be building in that particular location. One of the oldest sage advice from real estate has been that just buy real estate next to a Starbucks, because Starbucks has already done the research for you, and they believe that that's going to be a hot location to put up a coffee shop. So if the developer is already there, they've already done part of the research, but you still need to kind of understand that if that location, if there's going to be demand for that location over the long term. Supply is the number of units that are expected to come out over the next few years, but demand is going to be focused on the number of people or the population that's going to be moving into that location in the future. Because if there is no demand and there's a lot of supply, well, there's literally not going to be any price appreciation. So not only do you want limited supply, but you also want more demand, more people coming into that location, so that the potential for appreciation is going to be a lot more. Within location, you also have to figure out the connectivity to major highways. So how good is it, that location, in terms of connectivity to major highways, major roads? What is the traffic conditions? And also a lot of different things that you have to look out for in location is nearby parks, malls, and of course the hospitals and schools, and how far they are from the property in that location that you're looking at. So number one factor is location, and under location, there's a lot of things that come into play, which is supply, demand, nearby amenities, including parks, malls. You've got your hospitals and schools and connectivity to major highways, and of course, the traffic condition in that area as well. The second thing that is going to be affecting, or the second factor, I should say, that affects prices over the long term is the developer and the quality. And I cannot emphasize on this enough. In Dubai, it is very, very important that you vet the developer and you really understand who it is that you're working with and the quality that you can expect from the developer. And that's why me personally, when I was first getting started with my real estate journey here in Dubai, I promised myself that I would only stick to the known brands, the known developers that are known for their reputation for building high quality projects. And for me, these were Ellingtons and Emaars, Nakheel, Meraas, even Iman and Imtiaz are now coming up. But those were the ones that I really wanted to work with because they've been known for building very high quality projects, not just the building themselves, but even master communities that they are also focused on building. which is very, very important if you're looking at long-term price appreciation. So developer and the quality of the project, very, very important factor in affecting your long-term potential for price appreciation for your property. The third thing, which I feel is very, very underrated, which I've mentioned in my previous videos, is the management company. The company that is going to be managing your property, the company that's going to be responsible for managing the entire building, the upkeep of the common areas, the amenities, everything is going to have wear and tear. Whether it's your property, whether it's your building, whether it's your surrounding areas, everything is going to have wear and tear. The management company is responsible for making sure that the property is up to date, it's being well kept, there's a lot of maintenance that's happening, and that's what's going to affect over the long term the appreciation potential for your property, right? You could have the best location, the best area, the best connectivity. If you've got a really old building that is just not being taken care of, then the appreciation potential is really capped and there is not a lot of potential for that growth here. So management company, very important. In most circumstances, Emaar is the company that's managing a lot of their communities themselves. In most cases, Ellington or Shobha or a lot of these other high quality developers are going to outsource it to a third party. But even then, they are going to oversee to make sure that their project qualities are being maintained. The fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and basically the next three are going to do a lot more with the unit itself. So these are things that I've learned about it over the years, and that is the floor, the views, and the amenities, right? Those are the three things that also matter to future tenants or to future buyers, because if they are looking at living somewhere themselves, or if they're looking at investment properties, they're going to look at, is it a high floor, a mid floor, or a low floor? And they're also going to be looking at views versus corner units versus middle units, or whether the amenities are good, which is the gym, the pool. Now there's a big trend about paddle tennis. A lot of people love to include paddle tennis in their apartment buildings. Yoga rooms, we got saunas, jacuzzis, things like that. And those are the three really important factors to consider if your property has the potential to appreciate or not. Because if you look at the median price per square footage, or the median price for where the deals are happening for a particular building, the median is the middle value. It's the 50th percentile, right? So 50th percentile basically means the middle value. So there's half the transactions that are happening above that median value, and the other half are happening below that median value. So the ones that are happening above the median, which is the middle value, are usually the ones that are at a higher floor, corner units, have the best views. Those are the ones that actually demand a much higher price per square footage versus ones that are in the ground floor, not the best views. And so you have to really understand that, okay, even within a specific building, there's going to be difference in price per square footage. So if you want the highest potential for appreciation, if you want, your unit to be most likely in demand, that's going to be the higher floors with the best, of course, views. And more importantly, you also have to look at, if you're looking at specific projects and buildings in Dubai, you have to look at how many units that building has, and then what are the floor plans of those units. Meaning, that I'll give you a simple example, right? If there's 101 units in one building, and of those 101 units, let's say 80 of them are one bedrooms, and let's say 21 of those are two bedrooms. So 80% of the entire building is one bedroom apartments, and 21% or 20% of the entire building is two bedrooms. So now, once again, if you go back and think about supply and demand, what is more scarce in supply? It is two bedrooms. You have less competition if you're selling in the future, if you're selling a two bedroom versus a one bedroom. One bedroom, if those 80% of the buyers start putting their property on the market, there's a lot of supply, right? So the price appreciation potential is lower compared to if you're only competing with 20% and you've got a two bedroom apartment, which is more scarce. So if you have to look at a project, always look at which are the scarcer units, which are the ones that are not, in abundance, so to speak, which are the ones that are more limited in supply, and that will have the highest potential for appreciation in the future, while also keeping an idea of your tenant profile in the future, or your buyer profile, whether it's a larger family, that may want to buy, who's going to be the end user or end buyer for this particular property, right? Are they going to be a cash or a mortgage buyer? All those things need to be considered for you to better understand the factors that can affect your future potential for appreciation. And last but not least, this is a very, very important tip. The projects that have, in my opinion, and from what I've analyzed and researched, the highest potential for appreciation are often called the blank canvas as well. And the reason for this is because when you are reselling a property, the more broad the audience, the better it is. And I say that because a lot of times you'll see that a lot of people go all in to do the interior designing, to redo the entire interior, and then they feel that, okay, now I can demand a much higher price. But what ends up happening is that they're actually narrowing down on their audience because there's a very specific taste that they're catering to. Because once you do the interior designing, it's very subjective, right? Some people might like it, some people might not. So you're really narrowing down on your resale profile, on your buyer profile. Whereas if you leave it a blank canvas, as I like to call it, if you leave it as is, right, and let the investor or the tenant or the buyer come in and do it as they want, right, that's going to lead to more potential offers, and it's going to lead to more creativity, right, from the buyer's perspective, because they can do it as they want to do it. If you already give them a fully furnished, a fully interior designed apartment, you're really narrowing down on a specific type of buyer that caters to that kind of taste. So hope that makes sense, right? So the more open and the more sort of blank canvas you leave it for the future buyer, the better, because they can come in and they can use their creativity to make it as they want it to be. They can work on this. It's going to be a big project for them because if it's their home, they want it how they want it, not how you essentially thought was going to look good. So hope that makes sense. So those are my 7 or 8 factors that I wanted to put together that affect the property price over the long term, in my opinion. I'm going through that process myself. I'm going to be renting it out to a tenant. We'll keep you guys updated with my Ellington project. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.